Good morning, everybody. Breaking news, breaking news. New York City has finally found itself a communist that is less masculine than AOC. Mario, you ready to dig into why communism is not the right answer?
Does it really need to be said? Still, there
Apparently.
people don't know.
Apparently.
Well, New York City's not America. Okay, you need to accept that.
No, it's not. In fact, New York City is a prime example of something. I saw President Trump being criticized earlier for all but outright saying, if you import the third world, you will become the third world. I don't know why anybody should think that statement is controversial. We have evidence. You've got New York, you've got Minnesota, you've got California,
France,
France, yep, hell, the UK.
Yep.
If you import the third world, you become the third world. And New York has just decided to double down on that. New York mayoral primary election day. Mamdani invokes Nelson Mandela in victory speech as supporters sing goodbye to Cuomo.
Is he going to necklace Cuomo? Because maybe I could get behind the campaign if he necklaces Cuomo.
I don't know. Have you seen this little beta male? He might give Cuomo a pearl necklace. So who is this guy? Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani. So let me I just want to read that out loud for you because I want to remind you, when we talk about these people being communists, you hear all the time, Donald Trump is literally Hitler. Everybody who voted for Donald Trump is a Nazi. That's hyperbole. That's hyperbolic sociopathy being spouted by people who do not have a deep understanding of history or even a shallow understanding of history, right? Every Republican is a Nazi based on what you shitbirds. And in fact, it's not even, the criticism isn't even based on the idea that the Republican Party is the party of something resembling fascism. For starters, they don't understand what fascism is. Anybody who says you're a Nazi and a fascist clearly doesn't understand what either of those two things are. Nazis were German, fascists were Italian. They're different things. Yes, they're both Marxist things, but they are very different Marxists.
For the modern political left, okay, and it's been like this for at least 10 years, fascism means things that I don't like. Okay,
correct.
That's
Nazi means the same thing.
Yeah, people I don't like. Nazi.
Yep. Nazi, fascist, white. Those three words are utterly synonymous.
Yep.
To the psychotic left. So, I make all that point to say this: when we talk about Democrats being socialists or communists, that is not a hyperbolic comparison. Go back and watch our episode on how the commies got into America and infected literally everything. McCarthy was absolutely correct. There are communists everywhere. Now, this guy says he's a democratic socialist. Democratic socialist. Because that's magically different. It's not. A democratic socialist, just like the thumbnail says, you can vote your way into communism, but you will have to shoot your way out.
The Democrat Socialist, that party it's basically a college campus, okay, party like creation.
Correct.
I think it was founded in Columbia University for like the Students for Democratic Society, all right, in the 1960s, which took money from the Soviets, okay, which had Soviet advisors directing them what to do. But yeah, you look at some of the policies that this guy wants to implement. The most alarming one is the city run grocery stores that he plans to
Yes.
develop. Okay, so nonprofit grocery stores operated by the city of New York, right? Well, that's going to chase out one of the main grocer of New York City. Okay, he's this billionaire, Katzmandis, whatever. He's some Greek slanty eyed fuck. Okay, I mean I'm not defending the guy. All right, the guy is a cunt. Uh, this guy, yeah. That said, he said he'll if Mamdani wins, he'll probably close down operations. All right, sell his stores. He'll probably, I guess, sell them to New York City, and then they're going to be implemented, renovated as the people's grocery stores, right? There's a couple problems with that. Like, are you going to be hiring people who have knowledge of the retail business or knowledge of or some like a grocer, someone who works in the industry? Are they going to be in charge of the operation, or is it going to be run by the lumpenproll people, right? That they pull off the street, okay, who are ideologically committed to
Right.
the project.
It
Are
will
you
be
going to
It will be the Chinese collectivist farm.
with more hunger? Um, are they going to? So there's going to be price controls on these groceries. So they're going to be heavily subsidized, so it's cheaper than a market competitor. Who's going to prevent the shelves from being cleared out by opportunists who want to buy stuff at a discount, like sundries, and then go across state line to go outside the city or go over the bridge to New Jersey and sell it for a profit? Okay, who's going to prevent that? All right, who's going to prevent? Is retail theft going to be prosecuted finally because you're robbing the people's grocery store? I kind of doubt it. Who's going to prevent? And if it is local, like basically young communists who want to take part in the experiment, okay, racially aggrieved communists. Who's going to prevent like gangs from forming outside of these grocery stores to protect the people's grocery store? Okay, and what happens if you're not allowed entrance in to buy groceries because you're not deemed sufficiently the people? Okay, like
You don't have a high
how
enough social credit
are you
score.
going to prevent that? Like, how are you going to? It's kind of a nightmare. There's so many unintended consequences of implementing socialist and communist policies that these people who promote them never seem to have the foresight to think ahead, to understand or anticipate. And it's always the case. It's almost as if communism is just intentionally designed, or socialism, I should say. It's almost as if socialism is intentionally designed to ruin something, so that communism can come in as the solution. Okay,
And
problem, reaction,
it's
solution.
it's interesting. You use the phrase unintended consequences. We've talked about Hamlet's razor on the show before, which is the idea that you should never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence. Uh, and the it when you start talking about communism and socialism, it's almost hard to draw the distinction. It's hard to really pin it down because it very much is a movement of absolutely uneducated college graduates. And let me be clear: if you go straight through the public school and into college and get a 4-year degree and come out the other side of it, so you're 24, 25, 26 years old, and you're an adult now with a college degree who has been educated. You, at this point, know precisely dick. You know nothing. You have been told many, many things, but you have not learned anything.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's why movements like this, that's why political parties like this are made up almost entirely of people who are currently attending college or who are young college graduates. They have not experienced the world and don't have any concept at all of what a world looks like, of what an economy looks like. And so when you go to Hamlin's razor, uh, without understanding the sheer ignorance and intellectual inadequacy of the product of America's modern academia, without that context, you should look at every maneuver toward communism as pure malice, as, okay, we've seen it tried, we've seen it fail repeatedly, over and over and over again. It is not possible that you make the same mistake over and over again and you don't learn from it. You just keep doing it. You just keep trying the same thing over and over again, right? I pointed this out when we were talking about Obamacare. And, right up until we got, what was his name, Gruber, on camera literally saying it, I pointed out, listen, we know that Obamacare is going to fail. It's going to cause exponential rises in the cost of healthcare, health insurance, et cetera. We know that. We've got the prediction models. We've got the experience. We can tell you this is what's going to happen. It did. It failed miserably. And then I said, listen, there's no way that Obama and his ilk went after this socialist program not knowing the harm it would cause. And then we got Obama and Gruber both on camera saying, the point to Obamacare was that it was a half measure. It was designed to fail so that it would force us to go to full single payer health care eventually. The plan was to cause enough harm and pain to convince the people that the only alternative is full single payer. You eliminate the insurance companies, you eliminate private hospitals and doctors, and the only access to healthcare you can have is by begging Big Daddy government to hand it to you. So you look at a cat like this, and it may be the case that the majority of his voters can just be excused by incompetence and ignorance, but it cannot be the case that the party does not understand this well enough to be maliciously motivated. There are no unintended consequences when you start electing communists. The party, the communists themselves, they understand what they're doing. And what they're doing is they're attempting to create a slave class. They're attempting to push everybody down below the licensure level as far as they can so that they can have an elitist class, a slave class, and an enforcer in the middle.
Right. And like I said, the point is always for communists to they have to discredit the current institution. Okay, they must discredit current institutions by intentionally making them fail, so that they have they have the people's solution afterwards. Okay, we have a rare sighting from Unverified Bear in the chat. Welcome back. I have it under good authority. He just got released from a 2-month prison sentence for posting the final R on a Facebook end tower. So, welcome home. Welcome home, Unverified. Okay. Don't let...
Bear would not leave us hanging.
Hope you're not hiding any 3-inch blades in your house. Okay. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time for doing this to you guys. Mario mentioned the platform, so we are going to take a look at the Zohran platform. And again, I'm going to apologize for doing this to you guys. I'm going to show you his platform webpage.
Oh, God.
Are you ready, Mario? Is
it cringe? It's too early for cringe. Wow, that's an ugly color. What is that?
That is possibly the ugliest website I've ever seen.
What is that color? What is that color? Is that like the Ray Baby of orange and yellow? Like what? Yes. What is that?
Yes.
Oof.
Housing. Okay. Freeze the rents.
Freeze the rent. He's lived rent free most of his life because his parents live on campus in
Hear it from Zohran.
I'm freezing your rent as the next mayor of New York. Let's plunge into the details.
What? Oh, I see the problem. I can fix that.
As the next mayor of New York City. Let's plunge into the details. More than 2 million New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized units, and their rents are set by the Rent Guidelines Board. The board is made up of 9 members, and the mayor appoints each one. Doing this, Eric Adams' board has raised the rent every year he's been in office. Makes sense for a guy who said, "I am real estate." Currently, 8 of Adams' 9 appointees' terms are up and could be replaced tomorrow, and that's exactly what I would do. Rent freezes have happened before. De Blasio's board did it 3 times. I would do the same every year, only appointing those who understand that landlords are doing just fine. Last March, the board found that landlord incomes rose by nearly twice the increase of their expenses. The median income for a rent-stabilized household is
What an incredibly disingenuous statistic. Their incomes rose by twice the amount of their expenses.
I don't know
their
enough about it.
expenses rose. They rose by nearly twice the amount of their expenses. Oh, their incomes rose by twice. They doubled their incomes. No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said at all. Oh, and that statistic is fallacious. But y'all, they already have a problem in New York where landlords, that's property owners, who very generously allow people to rent property from them. And yes, that's done for profit. But let's be clear about this. It is generous and magnanimous to perform services, to offer goods and services in exchange for remuneration. It is suicidal to offer goods and services without remuneration.
You do know who the majority of New York landlords are, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
Our favorite people.
But there's still whether you like them or not, they're still engaged in legitimate business.
Yeah, well, I guess at the end we'll get into the what they're going to do about it. Okay, how they're going to prevent him from winning the mayor's office, and I've got some theories. But
okay,
anyway,
so,
what is it?
This guy's talking rent freezes, basically government captured grocery stores, $30 minimum wage. I mean, it's all pure psychopathy. Aaron Olson, yes, he did. Aaron's asking, did Mario see my meme from yesterday?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, Mario. What were you about to say?
I said, yes, Aaron, I saw it, and my immediate thought was, ooh, I radicalized an individual. Now I have to figure out what the MK Ultra trigger is to actually make you operational. Now I have to. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, Patrick Brown says the guy is Shia Muslim. He's yeah, he is. Okay, he's a Pakistani man who was born in Uganda. All right, so I guess he's I guess he's the leftovers from the British attempt to bring Indians to Africa as like a managerial class, okay, to deal with the blacks, so that the British wouldn't have to. That must be that's his historical legacy, right? His family moved to New York when Mamdani was 7 years old. What's going on, Chris? Is there a chicken fight going on outside or something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, chicken.
Chicken fight? Okay.
I was distracted by chickens.
Maybe we need, since Cameron's gone, maybe we need a third inset here where it's chickens. Okay. Maybe we can... So Mamdani's family moved. Mamdani's family they moved to New York when he was 7 years old. All right. His father is a professor of like African American studies or some bullshit at Columbia University. All right. And his mother is an Oscar nominated film director. Okay. You may remember, and you remember that movie. You may faintly remember it about some this African girl who was a chess prodigy in Nigeria. Okay. You remember that movie?
No,
That was her. It wasn't that memorable. Anyway,
I never saw
so
it.
he grew up
I don't
in
remember seeing it advertised.
he grew up spent the majority of his life in subsidized housing, basically living on campus with his parents at Columbia University, where he paid no rent, where no rent was paid. Okay. He graduated college in 2014 and worked for a moveon.org. We took very nice. He worked for nonprofit in Seattle. It was what's it called? The Move On. Remember moveon.org, right?
Yeah.
That was his first job out of college. Then he worked for another leftist activist group in Texas, right? And then he after that he works for a financial banking service nonprofit. They're all nonprofits, okay, which means that there are profits. They just don't have to disclose them. So worked for a nonprofit giving financial advice to South Asians, basically other Pakistanis, all right, in Queens, New York. So then he ran for office in New York as part of the state. What is he like I guess their state house, okay, House of Representatives for the state. He won a seat there where he failed to preside over 50% of the votes, and he only got like his name attached to 3 bills that even got passed in his entire time there. And he worked as a campaign consultant for several failed Democrat candidates. So basically, the man has never done any real work. This man has never he's never got a callus on his hand once in his life. He's never broke a sweat having to do anything. Right? He is a pure Nepo baby of communist, okay, and racial grievance, third worldist Orientalist, if you will, academics. He's got a similar history to say Barack Obama. There are a lot of comparisons to Barack Obama with this guy.
Yeah. Never had a real job. Well, Obama had a law degree and worked for a law firm for at least part of his
he didn't
pre-election career.
He didn't do anything.
He was a community organizer for most of his time before he was elected.
That's correct.
As a freshman senator.
Yeah, he did. Obama's primary job was doing what, like in the episode about communists coming to America and McCarthyism. In the first few slides of that show, he was basically he was doing the same job as one of those individuals there, a man with the last name Tillman, who was a community organizer, labor organizer, and an avowed communist.
TPS asks, I'm guessing you talked about the NYT editorial. I did not.
No, so the New York Times is strongly opposed to this individual. Okay, so obviously the New York business community doesn't want this. All right, the New York Jewish community doesn't want this either. Just because, I mean, come on, you just know this. You just know this guy is like a keffiyeh wearing, Palestinian flag waving, activist, 100% guaranteed. Which really rubs them the wrong way. So there's going to be a lot of money aligned against him to try to prevent him from becoming mayor. Understand, he won the Democratic primary. Okay, he's not the mayor yet. He still has to. He's still going to run against a Republican candidate. And
he will be running as a Democrat in New York City.
Yes, he will. He will be running as a Democrat in New York City.
And like Hillary Clinton, I think it was Hillary Clinton that said, "Listen, we can put a glass of water on the ticket, and it'll win with a D."
Yes, however, Cuomo will probably. There in the chat earlier, some people were mentioning Scott Adams. Not Scott Adams. What's this? Who's the current mayor? Eric Adams, the hapless black man. Yes. So there's talk of Eric Adams or Cuomo running as an independent. Okay, it won't be Adams. It will be Cuomo, and Cuomo will probably he'll be running as an independent. It will probably be like the most well-financed independent campaign in New York history, I'd imagine. Also, the Republican will be there's going to be extra scrutiny over who the Republican candidate is. It will probably be a Jewish individual. Okay, my best guess. They're going to have Sliwa probably stand down as an independent. You know, the guy with the Guardian Angels, Red Beret guy. You know,
Yeah.
been around for a failed candidate, but he's actually a real New Yorker. You know, he's lived there his entire life. But yeah, so the Republican will win because the Cuomo will split the Democrat vote. That's going to be the point now, and it's just make sure that we've got the right kind of Republican, who will be a Bloomberg type. Maybe not Bloomberg himself, not a titan like Bloomberg, but someone more aligned with Bloomberg style policies. That's what's going to happen. So my prediction, against what everyone else is saying, is this guy will not be mayor of New York. It will be the Republican who wins. They will intentionally split the Democrat vote.
Yeah, and Adams, Eric Adams running as an independent, he will be a part of that as well, splitting that vote. And guys, you know what happened to Adams? Adams saw that he erred. He erred. He imported the third world. New York began to become the third world. His 5-star luxury hotels got flooded with hostile foreign invaders, and he spake out on it. And where he basically Adams tried to swing just a little bit based, tried to swing just a little bit MAGA as a Democrat on the immigration issue. All he had to do is he had to go full swing. He had to go all the way. If he had just swung for the fucking fences and said, you know what? We can't do this anymore. I've got 1 million police officers and we're deporting everybody. We're going to shut this shit down. Right? Remember when DeSantis sent busloads? No, it wasn't DeSantis. It was the Texas guy. Sent busloads of foreigners to Martha's Vineyard. Said, "Hey, you're a sanctuary city, sanctuary state. Here, we are not a sanctuary location. We don't want them. Here you go." And the Donald got a lot of guff over the L.A. riots for activating the National Guard. Martha's Vineyard, they activated the National Guard to remove the immigrants.
Aaron Olson says, a black mayor personally calling ICE. Yeah, black people should call ICE.
Absolutely.
They literally took your jobs.
They are the most directly affected by hostile foreign invaders.
They took your jobs. Okay, get them out. Anyway.
Yeah, look, for the black guys living in the inner city, working shitty jobs, if they're not just professional drug dealers or criminals, you brothers trying to flip some burgers or sling some Popeyes for a living. The hostile foreign invaders affect you dramatically more than me. They drive up some of my costs. They make my groceries and my gasoline more expensive, but they make you not have money to buy groceries and gasoline.
Yep.
See, I'm gonna make money. Y'all don't have that. Y'all don't know how to make money. You know how to go to work. You can't do both, buddy. You can't do both.
That's me. Wagey in a cagey right here. Right. TPS report says,
a great poem that I wrote about 20 years ago, Mario, that was all about being a slave to your profession, to the wage, to whatever, and it was all centered. I wish I could find what I did with it. I don't know where I put it. I might just have to try to recreate it, but it was all bound up in imagery around basically a nice watch that was actually a pair of handcuffs.
Sorry. TPS Report Live says, but honestly, who wants to govern this shithole anyway? That's a good question.
And that's
Manhattan,
actually a major contributor to these problems. Is the only people who want to govern shitholes like Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, they're bad people.
Someone representing the business interests of Manhattan, okay, would want to govern this shit. All right, because they still have the average person in New York City had nothing to lose, and that's why they left. Okay, the business interests in Manhattan, they still have quite a bit to lose, so they would want to govern this shit. Because Mamdani is going to put an additional $10 billion in taxes on them. All right, so it's going to.
Yeah, isn't there already some shit going on where you have to pay to enter the city?
Congestion tax. Okay.
Yeah.
Where if you drive a automobile in certain areas of the city, it's an immediate extra tax on you, and they've got cameras everywhere, so they will, they'll just take your license plate and bill you. At least that's how I understand it works. But let's see. See, this I woke up late and I didn't get sufficiently caffeinated before this show, so I'm clipping. Okay, there's a little spinning circle here in front of my face. Buffering.
Yeah, Danny says it's $9 to cross the bridge. That's insane.
Maybe they need Mamdani. Okay, it can be like in that movie Time with Justin Timberlake, where they break the gridlock and like the plebiscite march across the bridge to the high time community and just ravage everything. Why not?
Yeah.
But, I've never been to New York City, and the time when I guess I might have gone would have been in the 90s when I was in high schooler. I had an opportunity to go there back when it was run by Giuliani, so it was corporatist, but it was safe at least. So that would have been the last time I might have gone to New York City. I lived in New England for a number of years, and the biggest city I went to went to Boston many times, but never New York. And Boston would have been enough of an indicator to know that I didn't need to go there, because the price of everything, Boston, the moment you enter the city, it's unaffordable. It's unaffordable.
I mean, we had fun. We had fun hitting the Boston market a couple times, and I'm not talking about the shitty little cafeteria thing. Well, that's not fair. Boston market's all right. It's an all right place to eat, but the Boston market is this big open air market with all kind of cool, interesting vendors, and it's a beautiful place. It's fun, but you know what? It is. I've seen it, and I don't ever need to see it again. It's not interesting or fun enough to justify subjecting myself to the moral decay that is a metropolis.
Yep. A couple good comments here. TPS report says it's a career-ending position. That is New York mayor, I presume. The days of a successful man running New York are long gone. That's correct. Yeah. It's the eaters in New York have long since outpaced the makers. All right, and with the migration crisis, okay, during 4 years of Biden, which was exacerbated by state like Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis sending migrants there. I mean, I read just the other day, a historic hotel like the Roosevelt, all right, a historic hotel in New York City is just closing because the money that was being sent to basically the historic hotel was turned into an illegal immigrant spawn camp, all right, where they were living for free, basically on federal subsidies. All that money's dried up, and the migrants, I guess, are leaving, or probably not. They're probably going to squat there. But the point is, the migrants have done so much damage to the hotel, essentially turning it into a squatamalan hellhole, that there's no money to renovate it. It's not worth it to fix it. It's not worth to fix like a great institution, great hotel, lots of history. I'm sure if you went in there, if the migrants didn't tear them down, there'd be photos just going back through the decades of New York City, all along the wall, showing the history, people who've been there, a piece of history, and it's gone. Basically sacrificed for the endless flow of eaters coming from the global south. It's a damn shame, but it's New York City. People don't care anymore. That's the general idea we're getting about. The general idea I'm getting from the chat here is probably what the most of America thinks. It's New York City is a shithole. It's beyond salvation. We have given up on our cities in America. We have given up on our cities, and in the UK, they're at the point where the UK is giving up on its cities as well, and that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing because you're locking in permanently that civilizational decline that your society is already underwent, and I don't see a way out of it. That's why the name I gave myself.
I can see a way out of it, but it'll get us banned.
Yeah, that's why the name I gave myself for this show. I don't know if you can see my name under my picture. It's Snake Plissken, because it is Escape from New York, if this man gets elected. And Unverified says you can thank Ken Livingston for the congestion charges. That is, London mayor who introduced congestion charges and showed the global American empire how profitable it can be. Did not know that. Thank you for that information. Whole Western world, mate. Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct. Like I've said, we've had a problem with immigration. We've had diversity challenges in this country for a long time. Okay, from our birth, really, and it accelerated full steam into a nightmarish dystopian direction with the passage of the Hart-Celler Act in 1965. All right. So basically, what took decades. What took like what took 6 decades to achieve in the United States with dysgenic immigration, Europe decided to speed run that in 10 years. Okay, so yes, and that's by design. There is no escape. There is no escape for you, Western man. You'll find your separate carve out. Okay, we'll balkanize to some degree. Okay, or you'll fight back, or you'll die. Those are your options. I don't know what the solution is. I don't think anyone does. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to double check this first appointment. I think, I'm going to have to go ahead and put a pin in this one. I got to get down the road.
I got to work in 20 minutes anyway. Because I'm a wagey, Chris. I don't have the intellectual capital to make my own money.
Well, now in fairness, Mario, I mean, I'm about to go out and earn it's not exactly a wage. I'm going to go and complete a contract and get paid for a contract, but it's my gig is much more convenient and much more flexible. I have much more control over it than you have over what you're doing. Just as a matter of how the schedule functions. But
yep. I guess I'll close my last. We have Cameron Anderson in the chat. Yes, I am ignoring you. You know what you have to do. Be a good boy. Consider this your daily reminder, sir.
I wasn't intentionally ignoring him, but I will take my R where I can get it. But yeah, I gotta put a pin in this one and hit the road. I tell you what, I see that we broke one of the numbers that I usually use as a bellwether to give away some free subscriptions, but I recognize every single person in the chat right now, so I'm going to hold on to that one. But like, share, and subscribe, and help grow the channel. Get more people. Get more bodies in here. Danny says Cam won't spend the $9.99. You know, Cameron, if you would go over to Rumble instead of YouTube and sign in, I would try to throw you a freebie. Get you a free month of the subscription. So come get some, son.
He's never going to Rumble, apparently. That's good. Why? Because we told you to? Yeah. Principal decision there, Cameron.
Y'all be safe out there, guys. Thanks for watching. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao.